And we are here for the BIA Pods game called Pick Six, where we talk about our best bets. I pick three, Philly Phil picks three, and we're heading into week six. Good slate of games here to pick from, but we'll talk about how tough it was for us to actually choose some of these games as the spreads are uh, kind of tricky. So, with that, Phil, can you refresh our audience on how we play the game?
Yeah, so in this game, we draft our best bets of the week in snake style drafts. And the key here is we have to draft three types of college football bets. We have a lock, which is a game that we are choosing a favorite to both win and cover their spread. We have a toss up, which is a game that we just choose who's going to be the winner, just a money line bet, but it has to be a spread that is 3.5 points or lower. So a game that we anticipate being close. And then the last bet that we choose is an upset. And for our purposes, we typically have an upset being at least a 7 point spread. So we're choosing the underdog to win in a 7 point spread. So those are three that we choose. And the lock is worth 1 point. If you miss it, you lose 1 point. The toss up is worth 1 point. There's no penalty if you lose. The upset is also no penalty if you lose, but if you win, you get 2 points since we're talking about overcoming a 7.5 point underdog. So those are the bets we make, and we keep our scores throughout the season to see who ends up on top.
Absolutely. And speaking of those picks, looking at last week, my lock, I chose Washington as a 17.5 point favorite over Arizona. Pac 12 after dark bit me. They did not cover that. They only won by seven. Louisville, that one did cash in for me over NC State and Syracuse, man. It was never close. It was only the only time it was close was when it was 0-0. The only game I want to talk about really was just the only reason I have the Louisville win was because of a bad call. I will say, Phil did call me out. He texted me and said, "Refs cheating," and I'm not gonna say they weren't cheating, but the NC State player blocked the defender into the punter, and of course punters do what they do. He won an Oscar for that, which is a flag and for the defense. And Louisville was able to get the ball back to run some more time off the clock since they were up. So I'm happy for that. It happens. It's a lot of times it goes the other way for me. So in those situations. So Phil, what was your rundown from last week?
Thank you for admitting the integrity to admit that that was a little shady. Louisville is, as a university, is known for some shady, stuff. I'm not. Hey, pass is pass, but I'm just saying I wouldn't put it above them to drop a little money on a referee. They've dropped money on worse things. So for my picks, my lock was Western Kentucky in the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry with Middle Tennessee. They were favored by 5.5. They covered that pretty easily. My toss up, which I lost, was Florida over Kentucky, and then my upset was Arkansas over Texas A&M, and that also lost. For me, I'll talk about my loss, Florida, Kentucky, because my whole hypothesis was that Kentucky's not very good, and neither is Florida. But Florida has been more tested this season, and Florida looked like hot garbage. They got ran over, ran through, ran whatever. It was bad. Kentucky, I think almost or did set like an SEC record in rushing in that game, which is wild for that to happen. And so, yeah, I'm staying away from Florida for the rest of the season. Y'all got me. It won't happen again.
I did not know that they set an SEC record for rushing in a game. That's crazy. You can't win like that, Florida. So I guess
No.
DJ is definitely not coming on the pod. So with that, I will I will let you go ahead and um, begin our picks for week six.
Okay, so yeah, I struggled to find games that I feel good about. I only feel good about one of my picks, to be honest. That's my toss up. But I'm not going to start with that because I'm going to try to snag my lock instead. Now I'm choosing a lock with a very small spread. So it's a little cheap. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little cheap, but I'm desperate because I'm down in the scores right now to Hugie, and um, yeah, I need one. So I'm gonna choose the one of the bigger games of the week, and that is Alabama versus Texas A&M. Now, this is a game that has had some great finishes the last few years. Some last minute field goals, some last minute incomplete passes that have determined the outcome. We've had a war of words last season between the head coaches to kind of hype up the game. So a lot of intrigue for me. Uh, I'm sticking with what I know. I'm sticking with the proven commodity here, and that is the Crimson Tide. Uh, that spread is almost suspiciously low. Right now, that point spread is only 1.5 points. Usually, you can double check if you want to make sure.
I did.
This is as of thank you, as of Wednesday evening. It's a 1.5 point spread. So I'm gonna pick Bama 1.5 to cover and win and beat Texas A&M, who I think is having a better season, but I'm not really a believer in them as a real contender in the West.
Phil, the SEC homer, uh, on the BIA pod. Um, no, I mean that spread was definitely higher than that when it opened, and now it's at a point and a half. That's crazy. Should be a good game. With that, my lock is going to be. Let me make sure that this hasn't changed. I believe it's a night game, but it's going to be TCU taking the Horned Frogs as a road favorite against the Iowa State Cyclones. Um, I mean, I am taking it because I don't think that Iowa State has played very well this season. And they got blitzed last week against Oklahoma. Don't know where that leaves them. I'm sure they're going to make improvements. Hopefully, they don't make too many. And TCU's offense is able to score points to give me that 6.5. Please win by a touchdown. I need it. I need it.
Usually we do have one other mutual friend, Freeze, who is a big Cyclones
Oh yeah.
fan. One of the biggest, probably definitely the biggest Cyclones fan that I know. And I'll make sure he gets this episode to know you're choosing against them. Those clones did have Matt. I defended the clones. They had a great offensive production in that first quarter against Oklahoma. It was going back and forth, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this Iowa State team? What are they doing, putting up points with Oklahoma?" And then, yeah, it kind of came back to reality. So we'll see if they can build off of that next week.
I haven't set eyes on them this season. Sorry, Matt. Um, so we're going to the next pick. I get to go first, and I'm going to go with the toss up. No, actually, no. Let's go upset. Let's go upset, and I'm sure I'm going to have to ask you for a favor on this one because last time I checked, it was at 6.5, and I know that we need 7. So,
I knew you were gonna pick this game. I knew it.
so can you already see that it's at 6.5? Yep, still at 6.5. I'm taking the Sooners. Phil, may I please have a favor here to take the Sooners at literally zero point 0.5 points under
Just
our
just ask. Don't try to downplay it as you're asking for the favor. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go for it.
boomer Sooner. I was on a flight a few weeks ago with some Sooner fans. They were flying to the Cincinnati game, so I'm hoping that their defense. Now let me just I hope that they win, obviously, so I can get my points. I don't think that Oklahoma's going to win, but there's not a lot of options, and so I just think good on good, good team on good team. We'll see. Hopefully, it's not a blowout like last year when Oklahoma didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good. I mean, it's a big game. Definitely, gonna be watching that one. Probably might even have. Hopefully, we can have that game on the main screen and the Ohio State game on the small screen in the second half because Ohio State is just winning by so much that we can focus on the better game, which is the Red River rivalry. But we will see about that. So for me, I'm going to choose a little more of a daring, some might say braver pick for my upset. Don't need a favor here because this is actually a 9.5 point spread. Give me the Cal Bears. Cal Bears taking. Yes, we hear your laughter, America, but the Bears are here to stay. The Bad News Bears. They are playing Oregon State this week. Oregon State is a ranked team playing really great, but I'm believing Cal. I think they've got some firepower. And honestly, like you said, there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. And why not Cal? Why not Cal?
Okay, okay, that's a good pick. I didn't know they were playing them. I thought they were actually playing Oregon, and I probably glanced over that and missed the state
Yeah, no, they're
because they're
playing the
playing Oregon State.
Beavs. Bears over Beavers.
That's a good pick. That's a good. Is that a Friday night game?
No, that's a Saturday at 10 p.m. game. So that's a game that I probably will
Oh,
not. I'll check out the score in the morning when I wake up on Sunday and say, "Dang it, Bears got me again."
Pac. Okay, Pac-12 after dark. Okay.
Yes, Pac-12 or dark. Okay, so my last pick is going to be obviously the toss-up, a close spread game, and this is one I actually thought about locking up as well. And it's a team that I don't anticipate scoring a lot, but their defense plays well at home, and they're playing a team that I still don't believe in this year. So I'm going with the Iowa Hawkeyes to win against the Purdue Boilermakers at home. I mean, Iowa's again not been impressive this year. They may or may not score their 25 needed points in this game, but I still think they will. Actually, think they will cover, honestly, against Purdue, and probably not score more than seven, not score them more than one offensive touchdown, but still win by 13 points.
Okay. Okay. Well, for my pick, I'm a, it's not my first choice for the toss up, but I got no choice but to fight you now. And I've already fought you on a Bama game this year. Give me the Texas A&M Aggies as this spread keeps dropping, and tomorrow it might be at a point. Who knows? But gig 'em, please gig 'em. I need this as you need them to cover. I need A&M to win. It's not going to be a penalty for me if they don't. But I mean, with this spread like this, I mean, if Bama wins by one, you're still out back. So
Mhm.
I do think that A&M is going to be competitive in this game, and watch it be Alabama 40, Texas A&M 13. Um, yeah, no, this should be a good game. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about this game. Um, I don't know why. A lot of people are talking about the OU Texas game, obviously a big rivalry. But this is a rivalry that's been brewing over the past few years, like you mentioned. So,
Well, yeah, I think
um,
that this game is going to determine. I will say I did hear them talking a bit about it today on or I listened this week on College Football Live ESPN, and really talking about McElroy, especially talking about this game determining the West. So it's sort of like this being the SEC West championship game right now. These teams are both 4-1, um, and that head to head is going to matter. So yeah. I think it is one of the low key, not really low key, but I think it's going to be a really big game, not just in terms of excitement, but in terms of conference championship. ramifications. So fighting me, we see how it went last time, man. I hate to do it to you, but you know, it is what it is.
The
I
offensive
told you last time, you
explosion,
come for the king, you bet not miss.
the king who's down by one. Um, I yeah, no, the Ole Miss offensive explosion happened a week late. Unfortunately, it's either that or LSU's defense is not good. But
Booty.
anyways, so with the recap, I've got for my lock the TCU Horned Frogs favored by 6.5 over the Iowa State Cyclones. Sorry, Matt. Toss up taking Texas A&M over Bama, and as my upset, Boomer Sooner taking Oklahoma over Texas in the Red River rivalry.
Hey, you kind of got a Big 12 angle there. You got two current Big 12 teams, one former Big 12 team um, there. So for me, I'm going to go for my lock. Give me Bama -1.5. I'm on the right side of this fight again. Um, my toss up, give me Iowa. Not going to be fun to watch. I promise you, I will not watch 1 minute of this Iowa Purdue game. Hopefully, no one else does either. But I was going to win that one. And my upset, give me the Cal Bears late night upsetting Oregon State um, at home.
And there you have it, ladies and gents. Our pick six picks for the week. Here they are if you're watching it with us on YouTube. There they are. So if you decide to go with us on any of these picks, let us know. We love to know if we're making a difference in the world and if there's some cash in your pockets. So with that, I'm Hugie. That's Philly Phil. Our week six pick six is done. We will see you next week for week 7.
Good luck.
Peace.